Well, from what Bowen told me, they see an opportunity with North Manheim because they don't have any zoning that prevents them from doing so.
It's not allowed in R1 agricultural, so where is Wayne
Well,
going to
it's
get
RA.
that? I know, and the R stands for residential, and the A
Well,
stands for
that's why
agricultural.
they want a variance. Well,
Oh,
they're gonna do an overlay.
Have you looked into what a zoning overlay is? There you go. I was good for you. No. We talked about it's one of those things where I should probably
Y'all please rise and pledge allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everyone. First order of business, Chief Clerk Linda Dietrich, were there any public, executive sessions? Okay, moving next to public comment. Anyone care to do public comment today? Morning, George.
Good morning.
George Stankovich, Palo Alto. Sorry I haven't been here the last few weeks. I know a lot of faces missed me, but I know a lot of faces didn't. But I just got a report. I didn't know Palo Alto, our trash is going up from 200, it's 200 and 200 payments, that's 400. Now it's going up 400. I said, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. First of all, your trash shouldn't even have to go up for what they're doing to the western part of the state, county. It's ridiculous what's going on in this county. I realize they have a job to do, but some of these workers don't even do their job right. If you see this outfit working, throw the cans, if they drop something on the ground, they don't pick it up. Now, this is ridiculous. And now, with this reassessment, and I'll keep on strumming on this, senior citizens and veterans are gonna be hurting the most. Hurting the most because they make the least money. And yet, they're charged just like anybody else. I don't care what they're saying. They have to look at what people make. The percentage is not the same if you're only making $20,000 or less, or if a person's making $100,000 or $200,000 a year. Do you realize that? You take that percentage, same homes, and those people are paying the same price. This is crazy, crazy. I'm tired of it. Argo wasn't even up at that senior thing up at the mall yesterday. He's afraid to show his face right now. He doesn't want to hear all this backlash that the senior citizens and the veterans want to give him. That's the problem. That's the problem. They say they hear us. Yeah, they hear us. And it goes in this ear and out the other. And that's it. I'm tired of it. I think it's time. And I know county officials and everybody has to start writing to these, say, listen, we're getting belted. Especially for veterans and senior citizens that can't afford this. They just can't keep going on with this nonsense. You're losing homes right and left. Right and left. You see for sale signs all over the place. People can't afford it. They're moving to other counties or a different state. This is nuts. It's time for a change, and I hope the change starts coming. Oops, sorry.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else making public comment today? Morning, Lynn.
Good morning. Melinda Dybert, North Manheim Township. Prayers for Larry. I hope he's starting to come around and going to get back up on his feet. Usually I do not try to make my comments political or get up on a soapbox about where I personally stand politically. But we do have an impending election coming up. And so I'm just going to put it out there. I absolutely feel like if we do not get Trump back into office, I am very fearful of where this country is headed. We cannot keep that border open like it is. We may not in Schuylkill County be hearing an awful lot about the illegal immigrants and the increase in crime that other places are seeing, it's probably just going to be a matter of time. Whether it's the illegal immigrants, the rising costs that everyone is seeing, and that Mr. Stankovich graciously points up almost every week when he is here, talking about the rising cost of everything, whether it's trying to put food on your table, pay your utility bills, rising fuel costs, etc. Something has got to give. And as we know, here in this county, we have that looming reassessment coming around the bend. And spring of next year, I guess, Mr. Barr said that the notices are going to start going out, and I am extremely fearful. Yes, we're seeing a lot of for sale signs on properties right now, but I guarantee you, once those increased tax notices go out to people, the floodgates are going to open in this county. And I think George is absolutely correct. People are going to either be looking to get out of Schuylkill County or move to a different state altogether. We cannot continue on the path that we're on. And I don't know how many of you tuned in. I guess there was a debate last evening between Senator Bob Casey and Dave McCormick. Another example, Bob Casey, sorry buddy, you gotta go. Another career politician, and how have we benefited? We gotta get somebody in there who is gonna fight for the people. I don't know how much time I have left.
14.
Okay. I was gonna get into something else, but maybe I'll save that for salary board comments. We have got to get Trump back in office. Thank you.
Anyone else care to give public comment today? If not, we'll move on to the rest of the agenda. First up, children and youth. Morning.
Good morning. Holly Zworsky for Children and Youth. We have 3 items today. The first is asking approval of an addendum to the agreement with Tegna Broadcast Holding, LLC, doing business as WNEP TV Music PA, dated July 10th, 2024, to extend the term period through August 31st, 2025, with no change to the total cap of the agreement. The second is asking approval of an agreement with Community Options, Inc., Princeton, New Jersey, for dual licensed residential and community home for individuals with an intellectual disability or autism services at a per diem rate of $953.68, with a term of July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025. And lastly, approval of an agreement with George Junior Republic in Pennsylvania, Grove City, PA, for community-based residential services with per diem rates as follows: regular at $313.62, special needs at $392.56, special needs MA at $431.31, drug and alcohol at $323.82, diagnostic at $336.62, intensive supervision at $501.74, and secure at $730.99, with a term of July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025.
Just a quick question, that the first one has to do with the extension of foster care advertising, right?
Yes.
I've seen some commercials, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
I want to commend your office for making that happen, so.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, agriculture conservation, and Kelsey Brown and his supervisor, Jen, are both at a conference away, so they asked me to cover for that one. This is a approval of an agreement for sale and purchase of agricultural conservation easement between the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and the County of Schuylkill jointly in perpetuity for a total purchase price of $191,340, of which the county contribution is $65,000. This agreement is for the Monster Farms Realty Ltd. farm, UPI number 14-07-0006.000, consisting of 95.67 acres in Hoadley Township. And Kelsey asked me to offer this narrative. The Monster Families Realty Farm is located in agriculturally important Hoadley Township. This farm is part of a 4,326 acre Hoadley Township agricultural security area, of which currently 845 acres are in preservation. With the addition of the 96 acres, it will be 931. A perpetual easement placed on this land would add to an existing cluster of preserved farms which began in 1992. For those who don't realize it, the Moster family is the owners of Summer Moster Incorporated, a potato farming operation in Hoadley. They are the largest employer of in that township of 450 people. So this is what their way of raising potatoes to supply grocery stores and institutional people with potatoes. So it's I'm a big proponent of preservation of farm. I know Gary Hess is too. I'm glad to see this one going through. Once again, as we our clusters of certain areas, we have certain areas of the county that will be good for industrial development, certain areas for warehouses, certain areas for recreation, and certain areas for farming. That whole program is designed that we have and have an operation that can supply food to us in the future. So, next up is Juvenile Probation Office. Good morning.
Morning, Commissioners. Mike Purcell with Schuylkill County Juvenile Justice. Today we're asking for approval in the grant and aid application to administer pass-through funds for the Juvenile Court Judges Commission for improving juvenile justice services in Pennsylvania. The grant package amount is $1,767,671 and is effective July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025. The award notification invoice for Schuylkill statewide impact in the amount of $1,767,671 will be sent once the agreement is signed by all parties. We're also asking for approval to execute the Juvenile Probation Services Grant Agreement from the Juvenile Court Judges Commission for improving juvenile justice services in Schuylkill County. The award amount is $250,042 and is effective July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025. The award notification / invoice for the Juvenile Probation Service Agreement grant in the amount of $250,042 will be sent once the agreement is signed by all parties.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Next up, our grant writer's office. Morning, Carol.
Good morning, Commissioners. Today I have two motions for you. The first is approval of a resolution to submit an application to DCED for the Community Development Block Grant Program in the amount of $1,141,107 for federal fiscal year 2024. The next is approval to award a contract in the amount of $53,016.80 to ProMax Fence Systems LLC for a CDBG project in Tamaqua.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is the Attorney's Office. Yeah, I don't see anyone here, so I guess I'll handle that one. Approve the application for funding of Pennsylvania's Commission on Crime and Advocacy, PCCD, RESA, VOJ grant number 45512, which funds victim service personnel through the district's attorney's office. This grant involves state monies that are administered through the PCCD program. The term is January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025. The total amount of the grant is $132,109. The grant can be extended through December 2026 via an additional funding allocation. But additional application will need to be made in September 2025 after an announcement is made by PCCD. Chris is up next. Morning, Warden.
Good morning. David Wapinski on behalf of the prison, approval of a contract with Tech 84, Poway, California for the purchase and installation of one whole body security scanning system for the county prison. The term is October 25th to December 31st, 2024. The cost is $162,000.
Thank you, sir. 911 communications.
Scott is on vacation this week, so
Sorry.
Scott is on
Oh,
vacation.
you want to take that one, Gary?
I can.
Okay.
Approval to enter into an agreement with Pace Scheduler of Naperville, Illinois for the scheduling software. The terms are from October 1st, 2024, September 30th, 2025, at a cost of $2,240.
Thank you. Planning and zoning. Morning, Lisa.
Good morning. In Planning and Zoning, we're requesting a motion to schedule and advertise a public hearing on Wednesday, November 13th, 2024 at 9 a.m. to be held in the Commissioners' Boardroom to receive public comment on the amendment of the Schuylkill County zoning ordinance and the Schuylkill County subdivision and land development ordinance. The purpose of the proposed zoning ordinance amendment is to set forth requirements for the development, construction, operation, and decommissioning of solar energy systems and to add definitions. The proposed zoning amendment would also add a wind turbine emergency response plan be submitted to the Schuylkill County Emergency Management Agency. The purpose of the proposed subdivision and land development ordinance is set forth requirements for principal ground-mounted solar systems. Next item is in the Office of Solid Waste and Recycling. A motion is requested for approval of a contract for professional services between the Schuylkill County Office of Solid Waste and Recycling and Barton and LaJudas. The contract is to assist the county in updating its 10 years municipal solid waste plan, aid in the preparation of the 901 grant application, the formation of the County Solid Waste Advisory Committee, and to aid the county in its request of the Department of Environmental Protection approval for all services. This agreement will be in effect from October 23rd, 2024, and goes through December 31st, 2026. The total cost of this service is not to exceed $75,000. And if you have any questions, I brought Kyle here to answer any of those.
This is part of our 10-year plan, right, that we have to,
Yes.
okay. Thank you.
Good.
Thanks, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Next up is tax claim, and it's in your packet. Just want to make one comment here. Ron Zimmer told me aside ahead of time. In the situation with Gerardville, the 4, 5, 3, 23, 3, 48, 8, 30, 83, the first one is demolition. The other two are actually currently vacant lots right now, so. Okay, Treasurer's Office, looking for a motion to approve the, no, I'm sorry, hit the report, I'm sorry, I'm ahead of myself here. Morning, Linda.
Good morning, Commissioners. Linda Yike, Schuylkill County Treasurer. We're looking for approval of our September 2024 Treasurer's Report. Ending balance in all accounts, $110,735,132.22.
Thank you, Linda. Next up, County Administration. Mr. Bender, anything to offer?
Yes, we have a number of budget adjustments of the current year. They're all posted outside of the.
I'm sorry, no, I'm just, number 10.
Oh, I'm kind of, I was gonna say, where's Paul?
Oh, no, 13 for, you're doing the offer for administration.
I have nothing to say.
I'm sorry, no problem.
Sorry, Paul.
That's okay. Next, we have Finance Office.
Commissioners, good morning. This morning on your agenda are 7 budget adjustments. Those budget adjustments have been posted outside the door.
Okay. Picked up my paperwork here. And then we have the Human Resources, Tony.
One item, Commissioners, in Children and Youth, the promotion of Guillermo Beitler to the position of County Caseworker 2. The rate is $22.3836, effective 11/4/24. He's coming from County Caseworker 1. The rate is per contract. And there's an informational item in the prothonotary, the appointment of Lori Guzik as solicitor, effective 10/21/24. All appointments pending drug test and physical where appropriate. All actions involving salary or for positions being created are pending salary board approval.
Thanks, Tony. Any new business to offer the Board of Commissioners? If not, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Okay, moving on to Salary Board. Chief Clerk Linda Dietrich, any before executive sessions? And then public comment?
Melinda Dybert, North Manheim Township. I'm going to start off with a question. Do we know here in Schuylkill County, are there going to be any of those ballot drop boxes anywhere in the county?
The only one we have is inside the election bureau. If you take it to the election bureau, they'll drop it to them. It's inside the cage. So if you want to take a ballot into the office, there aren't going to drop boxes otherwise in the county.
And at the election bureau, are they checking to make sure that you're the actual person dropping it off? Or like say you're you have a ballot for an elderly neighbor or something like that, does that person have to be with you to drop off that ballot?
My understanding is if you have someone else's ballot, you have to have a form you have to fill out ahead of time. I was asked that question about a neighbor, and I said, the only way I can take your ballot, and give you the application on the ballot, you have to have a form right, Gary, I'm saying the wrong thing, you've done this long enough, you have to have a form. And once again, you can only bring one ballot, it has to be the person that's bringing the ballot in, so.
Okay,
If they're bringing it in, they can just drop it off at the post office, which is right next door. And the post office naturally, instead of, a lot of times they have an agreement rather than sending it to Harrisburg, at the end of the day, we'll go through the process and then take it over there.
okay.
So that's the best way to do it, is to still put it in the mail.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, thanks. Thanks for clarifying that. The other thing I would like to point out, when people say shenanigans, there was no election irregularities the last go round. Yeah, okay, tell me another one. I stayed up all night, back in 2020, I stayed up all night to see the election returns. And I found it very concerning that President Trump was up by a wide margin until around 2 o'clock in the morning. And also Josh Shapiro, who was running for re-election for Attorney General, his opponent was way ahead of him until around 2 o'clock in the morning. And that is when the numbers started to shift drastically. Every other row office in Pennsylvania went Republican, except for Attorney General Josh Shapiro. Do you think he could afford to have a loss in his column if he was going to turn around and run for governor? I think not. So when people say, no shenanigans, nothing to see here, keep moving, people, I'm telling you, something happened in Pennsylvania and it wasn't good. And it's very concerning to me when I hear of some of these counties, I believe Luzerne, Lackawanna, they're kind of hitting on my radar, that they are going to have these unattended drop boxes where any Tom, Dick, or Harry can just come and throw ballots into these. They're not guarded. There's no one standing there watching. They're probably not on camera or anything. That is what bothers me. So kudos to Schuylkill County that it sounds like we are going to keep tight reins on this election. Okay, good deal. Thanks,
Well,
Dave.
like the drop boxes, if I'm wrong, Mr. Rice, help me. It doesn't say you have to have it, it doesn't say you can have them.
Yes.
We originally said, as a group, all three of us, our former commissioners said we think it would be better off. Otherwise, you really should have to have a person sitting there watching it.
Yes.
24 hours a day, so we didn't have the staff, so we said, day one, we don't want to go down that road. Like Gary said, if you have 3 ballots in your hand, you can drop yours off at the election bureau and walk next door, put a stamp on it, give it to they'll walk across the street, or across the walkway later on the day, so.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else want to give public comment for the salary board? If not, we'll move ahead. Human Resources, Tony, back to you.
One item, Commissioners, in the parliamentary set salary for Lori Buzik as solicitor. The rate is $2,448, effective 10/21/24.
Is there a motion for the salary for the solicitor?
So move.
I'll second that. On the question, roll call.
Commissioner Fedora, Commissioner Heatherington.
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Controller Yekenship. Yes. And Parliamentary Miller. Yes.
Any new business to bring to the salary board? If not, for a motion or
So move.
you want to say much about the youth summit today?
Oh, yes, just today, I should have mentioned it during our regular meeting. The Youth Summit met for the first time today to kick off the new school year. They actually met up at the Fairlane Village Mall. This is the third time that we had a volunteer fair. There's probably about 25 different nonprofits there, and probably, I think, all but 3 schools have attended, and roughly about 100 and some students, which will go around and listen to some of the what the nonprofits that are there, what they have available, looking for volunteers and so forth. So this is something to get the youth into being aware of the volunteer opportunities that are out there, especially helping a lot of the nonprofits that, naturally they don't look for volunteers to get their mission done. So this has been quite successful on doing that. So this is the kickoff for our next one, which will be held in the spring. So it's getting underway pretty well, successful. So it continues to grow. So.
Thank you all for attending.